What's going on, everyone? I wanted to show these beautiful paper buttons that I use the Dollar Tree photo album sleeves for. Show you how I did that and came up with that. So I was watching another crafter's videos, of course, while we get inspiration. And Tiffany, she did the 3-layer cardboard, chipboard, no, correct me, whatever. I'll tell you what it was. And I have a little bit of footage at the end. It was one of my daughter's coloring books. You know how you have those big, gigantic coloring books in the back of that cardboard that's on the back of that. It was real thin, and I have a video clip in there, should be. And I was just going to toss it and throw it away. And I'm all kind of like wanting to use stuff that's in my stash and wanting to repurpose trash and things. So I looked at that and said, hey, this is good, like chipboard material. So I took it and just started making punches with it. So I used a 1-inch punch and just layered it in 3s because it's, kind of a thin. So I just took 3 layers and stacked it up. And so once I stacked it up, now this was my prototype here, so it's looking kind of rough. I have my camera kind of backed up. I don't know what's going on with the phone. My camera seems really close now. They did some kind of upgrade, something, if you ask me. See, that's really, really close. But I used to just film at that before, but now I kind of have to back up, and sorry you have to see my little pipes set up here. But anyways, I digress. This is my prototype here, so it has like a lot of glue and stuff in here. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do it. Now you could just do it without the bling, but I mean, I'm extra. I've always been that way. I really like bling, so I wanted to add that, and I thought it would be unique. So anyways, I backed the cardboard with 3 layers and then just use the art glitter glue. And then once I got that on, I was trying to figure out how I could. Now I started out with this one, and that's how the glue is everywhere. Tried to, glue it on or try to figure out a way, and it was just a little too gonky and it didn't look good. So I ended up using just the double-sided tape and then just kind of strung that around. And then once I got the double-sided tape, once I got that all the way around, then I folded it over, which was a double base for putting on the scrapbook paper. So I ended up, once I have that, then I put the scrapbook paper on each sides, and then I was left with the stickiness of the double-sided tape that was around the sides. So then I took I think I've cleared my desk up. I took the bling, which is already here, and this is that stretchy, like, fabric kind of trim in the fabric section of Hobby Lobby. So it's stretchy, and it has the iron on the back. So it's very flexible and things. So I was able to take that and just kind of pull it and twirl it around. And I like the way it looked. I like that look. So, and then once you get the backing of that and the backing of that, which you could probably just take a heat gun and kind of set it even more. But to me, it's set because it was real sticky at first. But then once I, let it set after a while, it kind of set in. And so now it's, it's real hard. So, but it's not, not going anywhere. So I really like how these turned out. And I thought that if, I'd package them up with the leftover sleeves from the photos. Now, one of them I used as like a journal, and so I tore the sleeves off, and so I was trying to think of what ways to repurpose this. So I used them, and this is 2 projects in one. I used the sleeves for packaging, and then I also showed how I did my little paper buttons here. And so I really like how they turned out, and I think that they were cute. And then I just used some paper clips here, and then I just kind of wrap that around there. I kind of did this one side there, just kind of package these in here. And I think that they turned out pretty cute. And so these are packaged and ready to go. And then these were all just scraps. This is all my scrap bucket. I just went to my scrap bucket, and of course, if I was wanting a certain color or a certain thing, I could just pull that out. But these were just from my scraps, and so I think that these are cute. These would be great to put in Happy Mail. I know that if someone was sending me this, because they know I love some bling, I would really like these buttons, but they're a little bit, as with crafting, it takes a little bit to make, but you can't really, you know, go, I think this is, you know, a little unique. You can't like go and buy these. So I think that these are cute. So, but the only other thing that I didn't show is, of course, that when you get these, they're two-sided. And so all that I did, and I'm trying to repurpose that again, all I did was just take one side of the plastic and just tear it off. And then why did you take the one side? I don't know. This is something that I got on my desk. I'm sorry, that looks a little dirty there. But as you take the other side, why did you take that off? Is because I used a layer of double-sided tape to glue that down. And then I also reinforced it with a little bit of art glitter glue on those edges. And so it sticks better. If you leave this on, this is a slick slide. So I thought that, I don't know, but I'm going to keep these. I think that maybe, not saying it's you know, coming real soon, but I think that I will keep these to the side. I may be able to repurpose those also. I'm all about trying to repurpose things, but yeah. So I used several of those sleeves that I tore off in that project right there. And the only other thing is with these, I left this side open so that if you wanted to, you know, do a little tab and include something in the back, you can have like a pocket here. And then, of course, you have your pocket there that I slid this in there. But also, there is a pocket back there that you could use. But I didn't need all of that for that. But I just left it open just in case I think of something later. But, all right, I'm going to show you the footage of how everything came through. So it can go in more detail of what I explained. But I hope you like this. If you do, give me a thumbs up. It helps. It really does help my channel. And I'll see you later, Craftinistas. Okay, so here I'm just showing how I tore off the sleeves from the album. And I knew that I wanted to reuse these. So you can see the condition that they're in, and basically just reminding you what the photo albums look like. So basically all I did was just take them over to my little trimmer here and then just trimmed off the end of them so I can give it a nice smoother look, so they wouldn't be all with the torn edge there. And just showing how I just snip those right off so they can be somewhat more even and presentable and flat when I fold over, as like right there. So with this one, I had more of a flap. I ended up cutting it off. I just noticed that I ended up cutting it off a little bit more. See how it's so covered, you can't really see there, but I ended up cutting it off a little bit more. So this is the cardboard that I use. You can see it's a gigantic cardboard. It's one of those at the end of the coloring books, and I was just going to throw it away because it was torn up. And I decided this would be good chipboard to use, so I ended up taking a 1-inch punch and then taking 3 of those, which is good that it's lightweight like that so it can actually get through the punch. Because if you take those 3 layers together, you wouldn't be able to punch them in the punch. So this is just something just to sit down with the TV on or some music and just punching away. So this is what I did. I just took those and showing there, and then after that I just punched away and just continued to punch the rest of those up and utilize that whole thing of cardboard and got that out the way. So, but then now I'm just showing you how I just took my art glitter glue and just glued those down. Now I'm a little sparingly on this video because I kind of just show how I'm taking it to the sides, but if you really press down, I used enough glue. If I really would have just pressed down on it, I could just take it and kind of smooth over to the side. So when I'm doing this, I kind of got them out of the way because your hands are going to get a little sticky, but I noticed using a wet wipe or disinfecting cloth or something next to you, you can wipe your hands while you're doing it so it won't be so sticky. And of course, getting it all done together, then you can get your hands all stuck at one time. But yeah, that was utilizing some waste and taking advantage of it and getting that done. So then, of course, I was looking for the perfect little print here, and that's what I get when I did punch it, instead of just punching something and then finding out what I want. I was too close to the edge, and so I got that little flat piece there, and we'll have to redo it. But I recommend, if you have a piece like that, you just start punching, and then you could start looking at what you want to include on your design later. But that's what I did, and that was my prototype to get everything started. So I like the little sunflower in there, and so I just glued that down, and then got that going. I got a different method that I'm going to show in a little bit that I utilize, but this is just the simple basic way to show, especially if you're not putting any bling on there. What you're going to do is just glue one side, then punch another one, and then punch the back side. So, but here I am, I got smart and then started pressing them together here, and like I said, just smooth around the edges, and then you know that it's not going to fall apart. Once you smooth that glue around there, and the art glitter glue is a perfect glue. I totally recommend art glitter glue, but once you get that around and it dries, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be set. So like I said, I just started lining them up and getting them going, and that's what I came up with. So here I am with my bling now. At first, I didn't even pull out the bling. It was just what I had left over from on my desk, and I decided that I wanted to use it. Now what happened was I had some paint pens that I wanted to use, and the gold and the silver, of course, was dried up. So the copper was still good to go, but I needed gold for this project. So until I got a hold of them or had them on reorder, I went on and started using the bling idea. So that's where that came up from. So as you can see there, I have a piece of scrapbook paper that I cut. It was 6.5 by 6.5. Now, I can say that if you have sleeves that you got from somewhere else or from Walmart or something else, I know that theirs, I think, are top loading. So you have to do your own adjusting and measurements. You're not going to load from the side. Now, this is a side loading sleeve. I think some of those are top loading. So I can say that, you would have a different project going on here. But if you have some of these Dollar Tree ones, I think they were all made the same. So this will work for the side loading ones from the Dollar Tree. So I did mine 6x6. As you can see, I have all my little coins loaded back there that I had. I just took that whole piece of paper and just a cardboard sheet and just cut all those out. And then I was just lining it up to make sure. So I think I did my score at 4 3/4 and then folded it over on that 6.5 by 6.5 piece. And then I just have the different scraps that are in my scrap basket. And I just got those lined up. I did most of those up and down. As you can see, the words are written there, so I kind of had no choice. And then I did one horizontal, but most of them are the other way. And so this is the method that I got since I decided to use the bling and not my dried up paint pens. But I think if you just put some gold or silver around there, if you're not into the bling, I think that would really, I mean, they would look great without doing anything on there. But I think if you had the paint pens just to add the accent on there, it would look good. But mine didn't because I didn't have the paint. But here we go. I'm just unraveling my tape here. And this is just plain double-sided tape I get from Amazon. And I will get that going. I have that laid down there, and then I'm going to go ahead and after I got the method going here, I figured you can see how fast I punched those down too. So I figured what design I wanted, and then took my glue and I'm going to glue one side and then the other, and I'm going to stick, like I said earlier, right down on top of that. So I have that double-sided tape that's going around the edges for my bling, but also there's a fold over, and so that's going to help secure it all. It's going to secure the paper too. Plus I have a little glue that's going to squish out on from the sides. So we're really good here. And like I said, these were just scraps that I had. So I didn't even end up pulling out my bling. But this is just some of that trim from Dollar Tree. And the ribbon back in the fabric section, and as you can see there, it's just the several rolls, and I ended up just cutting them because they were kind of just too short to go in any other projects that I had. So this was just perfect that I can cut these down and utilize them and just see very little. And then even some of them I ended up using because I'm using my big scissors here instead of getting a small detail scissors, and some of them I cut just a little too short, or once you started pulling, it ended up not pulling all the way and I had a little bit of a gap. So I still ended up using a little bit of those little snippets to fill in there. So that was even utilized a little bit more. So I still was able to use some waste there. And then just kind of pulling and setting. And then, like I said, once you leave it more hours the next day, whatever, it even cures a little bit more, it sets. So this is just some glossy accents that I use. I'm sure in Mod Podge, if you have like a glossy Mod Podge, I'm sure that it would probably, it would work too. But I just wanted to try just wanted to use my glossy accents, and I'm being a little not as generous as I did here, just kind of showing you, and I just kind of whisked the brush every which way so I wouldn't have waves going one way or the other of brush strokes. And then once that dried, put a couple layers on. I just flipped it on the other side, just a couple layers. And then it just gives me a kind of a gloss instead of that plain paper look. It just kind of gives a little gloss, like a little button. And I just think these are cute and just love how they turned out. And then I, like I said, utilize these scraps that was on my desk that I can get rid of. So, and then I'm gonna take the Crop-A-Dile here, and that's how I'm gonna make my buttons. Now it's then I'm gonna take the other little scraps that I have and just feed through and pull them. And there wasn't even no gluing with that. Once you start pulling them with that sticky trim on the back, they just kind of set. So now you could make a protocol and a stencil, can I say? And then, you know, I didn't do that way. I just used the smaller holes, and then because there's a bigger side and a smaller side of the Crop-A-Dile, I just used the smaller side and then just kind of eyeballed it. So some of them are closer, some of them are farther apart. If you're going to be real particular, you may want to use a stencil. That way they can be uniform. But I think it's uniqueness that some of them are smaller and some of them are wider, and I didn't mind. I think it still looks good to me. So, but here I am showing you how I'm just feeding the trim through here, and then I could have pulled it off probably, but I just cut it there, and then it just kind of stays in place. And then there you go. I think these are super cute. And then as far as the hole punch, once you get those 3 layers together, yeah, you're going to need a Crop-A-Dile for this project. A regular hole punch is going to be too, there's going to be too thick for a regular hole punch. So see you later, Craftinistas.